universe. And I was telling the creation of the universe, the theory propounded by the Vedas, is more scientific and logical than any of the other theorems we have got. So I was referring to this black hole theorem or Big Bang theorem, so many things. So in comparison, this is more scientific and reliable. Finally, that you can decide after listening to the complete picture of it. So I was telling, then means that is when nothing was there. But when I say nothing, it was not absolutely nothing. There was something. So that's what the mantra says. So when you say nothing, it means nothing was in order. Nothing was the way we look at the world today. But something was there. And first I refer to the Sat. And Sat was in its primary raw form. And we know very clearly that Sat is not created. It is there. It is an entity. And it is Anadi Ananta. That we have discussed. So that Sat was there. And the basic raw form in this mantra, they call it as the Ambhaha. That is the name they have given. Ambhaha. So the root of that word Ambhaha is Apulra Vyaptav. So that Apulra Vyaptav, it is one which expands, which grows, which occupies space. Now the basic feature of this Ambhaha is, one I told you it is throbbing or pulsating. The other one is valency. Now the throbbing or pulsating, we can understand it as an unstable condition. An unstable condition. It's not stable, it's unstable. So because it is unstable, it has a tendency to become stable by taking the support of other things or giving support. Then only that Vyapti will happen. If Vyapti has to happen, these two qualities are required. These two features are required. Unless it is unstable and wants to be stable by joining with the other particle, it cannot become, or it cannot grow, it cannot cover, it cannot occupy. So they are the basic two features of this Ambhaha. Now the next point what I was discussing was, this Ambhaha on its own cannot form this ordered, organized universe. This universe is organized. But due to our incapacity to understand the whole thing, because of our limitation, we use the word it is random, it is not organized, all these things we use. But the world is not random, is not disorganized, it's perfectly organized, and there is no randomness in this universe. Because of our limitation, because I am not able to explain it, yes, I say it is random, it's coincidence, it just happened, it's an accident, it's fate, all these things we speak of. And it all represents my ignorance, my incapacity to understand. But the whole universe is perfectly organized, because whatever universe we know is perfectly organized. Now, one more thing we have to understand. Wherever there is an organization, wherever there is a system, behind this system, there is always two things. One we call it as Jnana Shakti, and the other one we call it as the Kriya Shakti. Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Jnana Shakti is conceptualization. There should be one which conceptualizes. That is, it cannot be just Sat. That is the part of the Chit. It's Chit only which can do that. But what we are observing so far is Ambhaha, that's the basic form of Sat. Chit is not there in it. But because the whole world is organized and this organization requires conceptualization, there's nothing but Jnana Shakti, and it has to be implemented, it has to be put into physical process. Only then it can happen. That we call it as Kriya Shakti. Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. Now neither Jnana Shakti is there in it, or something else has to use the Sat to convert it into some forum, some organization, some system. So we are forced to, or we are logically inferring that there should be another entity which, by using this Sat, in addition to its Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti, has formed this universe. And that second entity we are thinking of is Satchidananda. Because it's omniscient. Omniscient because that is Jnana Shakti. It's omnipotent, we say it is Kriya Shakti. So by using this omniscience and omnipotence, that Satchidananda has organized systematically this whole world, macro to micro. And the basic raw material that it has used is Ambha. Now two things fell in place now. One is Ambha, that is Satchit, Sat, and another one Satchidananda. That is the one which used this Ambha to create this universe. Our next question comes, for whose sake this whole universe was created? Now Sat has no experience, has no Chit, has no awareness, has no conscience. Prajna is not there. So what is the use of this world? Whether it is in the Ambha forum or in the organized or systematic forum, it is immaterial for it. Then if you are speaking of Satchidananda, it's already bliss incarnate, it's already Ananda Swarupa. So there is no shortage and it doesn't require anything else. So then why was this universe created? Now then logically we have to infer there should be another entity which needs it. And that is the Satchit. That's the Jivatmans, souls. Now these souls want to experience bliss, want to have communion with Satchidananda. But it doesn't have the capacity as it is. It has to work for it. So to work for it, it needs an area, a Karya Kshetra. We must out of Ambha, and the creator of this universe is not Ambha. Ambha is not created by Satchidananda. We shall be very clear. Sat, Satchit, Satchidananda, they are Anadi Ananta. But using that Ambha, this universe was created for the sake of Satchit by Satchidananda. Now all the three fall in place. Now this is what exactly we find in that Sukta. When I go by mantra, then we'll study all the 7 mantras there and try to understand a little more. So it says there was nothing organized, but there was something which was in raw form, that is Ambha. There was no system of birth and death. There was no system of maybe the solar system, what we know, and many constellations, Milky Way and other things. It was not there. Even Panchabhutas were not there. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Prithvi, even that was not there. It's an earlier form of it. Now from this Ambha, this Satchidananda first set up these 5 elements, Panchabhutas. And from there, depending upon different proportions, the whole physical world was created. And it is 100% systematic because it's all created by, set up by Satchidananda, which is omniscient and omnipotent. Now, how this whole system started? Okay, it created. How did the creation start? Then in the same mantra it says, the whole creation started with Karana Karya Vyavastha. Karana Karya Vyasa. That is cause and effect. And that's a basic thing of this organization, this system. Any system if you take, the whole system originates from a point where we have got this cause and effect, Karana Karya. So only the system is called a system, an organization is called an organization, when we are able to find in it this cause and effect structure. Something happens and without reason something else happens, if that is there, it is not organization, it is called disorganization. Because of our limitations, somewhere we see like this. But in the universe, there is no such randomness, there is no such disorganization, it is complete organization. If there is a cause, it results in solvent. If this is the result, this should be the cause. It is well laid. It's a well laid system of cause and effect. And it says very clearly that it all started from this cause and effect. Then a few more little questions are there, then the whole picture will be completed. Now what are those little questions? Okay, you are telling this all what happened at that point of time. That's when the creation was done. Who witnessed it? Who was there to say, this is what happened then? Sat was there in the form of Ambaha, fine. But it doesn't have that awareness. It is not conscious. So it cannot be, or it cannot be considered as a witness, and it cannot say that so and so happened at that point of time. Because it is inert. Okay, then who else has to say? Satchit has to say. But how was Satchit at that point of time? It had no Sharira, Indriya, Manas. So it cannot act, it cannot react, it cannot see. The whole system was not there at that point of time. It's now, but then it was not there. Then what was its condition? The soul at that condition was two. One was Mukta Sthiti. In that state of salvation, it was just there enjoying Shanti, enjoying Ananda in communion with Sachidananda. Over. Other things were irrelevant. So it was not a witness. Then there were Satchits which were in Supta Sthiti. One is Mukta Sthiti, another one is Supta Sthiti. Supta Sthiti is dormant. Then it had no body, it had no sense organs, it had no mind, brain, anything. But it was waiting to get all those things. So that state we call it as a dormant state. Even now, between two births and deaths, after death, before birth, the condition of the soul, which is not a Mukta soul, it will be in the Supta Sthiti. Supta Sthiti, dormant. It has got the potential to have Sharira, Indriya, Manas, act and react, but at the point of time given, it has left to one Sharira, Indriya, Manas, about to get another Sharira, Indriya, Manas, that is the intermediary stage. So in that intermediary stage, we call it as the dormant stage. So then also, there were Mukta Jivas and there were Supta Jivas. Mukta Jiva has no relevance to this creation or is not a witness. Supta Jiva also cannot witness. It was there in the Mukta Sthiti or the Supta Sthiti, but he said to or it cannot work as a witness. Now the third one left one is only one. The tool of Sachidananda is the only witness at that point of time. So whatever Sachidananda says, that is final. We can't help it. Because you don't have other proofs. We don't have other witnesses. And Sachidananda has spoken about this in the Veda, in this Sukta, so that we take it as the proof, final proof. And it was only Sachidananda which was awake, which could handle things at that point of time. It could control the Ambaha, it will control the Mukta Jivas, it will control the Supta Jivas. So the one and the only one, which was the witness at that point of time, under whose control other things were there and other things happened. Now that force Satchidananda, in that condition, at that point of time, is called as Adhyaksha. Adhyaksha, the word is familiar to you. The president. Adhyaksha is that before which everything happens, and that is at the helm of affairs. That we call it as Adhyaksha. So the Adhyaksha at that point of time was Satchidananda and nothing else. The very word it's always there. Now after the creation of this universe, it could be in the Mukta Sthiti, it could be in the Supta Sthiti, or it could be with Sharira Indriya Manas. Three things. But at that point of creation, that third thing is not there. Sharira Indriya Manas is not yet created. The whole universe is not created. Birth and death cycle is not established. There are only two states, Mukta Sthiti, Supta Sthiti, over. I think I am clear now.
Yes.
Shanti madam. Huh?
But how did they divide into Mukta Sthiti and Supta Sthiti then?
That is the state in which they are. See, there was earlier creation. This is not the first creation.
Oh.
This creation itself is a big cycle. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. At the point of Laya, all the Satchits are still. Now when they are still, they could be some which are in the Supta Sthiti, some which are in the Mukta Sthiti. That is referred to with the previous Srishti. Laya is done. So during that Srishti Sthiti Laya, lot of things had happened, and at one point it freezed. At that point of freezing, we had some which are Mukta in Mukta Sthiti, we had some in the Supta Sthiti. Now a new creation is being done. Now they all get into this. Mukta, they will continue in the Mukta Sthiti. Supta Sthiti, they get into this creation and birth and death cycle. At the end of this creation, Srishti Sthiti Laya, again it freezes. So when it freezes, some are in the Mukta Sthiti, some are in the Supta Sthiti. In the next creation, Mukta Sthiti will continue and Supta Sthiti will again get into birth and death cycle. So Srishti Sthiti Laya is a bigger circle we have got. At the end of the previous Srishti Sthiti Laya, at that point what the condition is there, the same condition will continue here. You got my point?
Yes.
So we just freeze. Imagine that we have freezed there. So at the point of freezing, some are in the Supta Sthiti, they are not eligible for Mukti. But Sharira Indriya Manas is not there because of Laya. And there are some which are in the Mukta Sthiti who have attained it. Okay, for them there is no disturbance. So those who are in the Mukta Sthiti, whether creation is there or not, they are in that Mukta Sthiti. They are not in the birth and death cycle. So for them, there is no change. But Supta Sthiti, they are freezed, and in next creation they have got a role to play. Because they have to take the Sharira Indriya Manas. They are not in the Mukta Sthiti. They have to work again. They have to continue their work. So whatever they have worked up to the last birth, last Srishti Sthiti Laya, that will continue here. All this, I have not seen, you have not seen, no one of us have seen this. We have to just take the word of the Apaurushaya Satchidananda. Because that was the only Adhyaksha at that point. That was the only thing which observed all these things. Now the last sentence in this Nasadiya Sukta, they say, so with all this, whatever Adhyaksha says is final, because no one of us were a witness. And if somebody says, I have seen and this is like this, please note he doesn't know anything. With that, the Sukta comes to an end. So the ultimate what we have got is what the Apaurushaya has said in the Vedas, and that is final. and nobody else can claim that I know it completely. If somebody claims, please note, they are not telling the truth. Because they cannot know it. They cannot know it. So in these words, that sukta comes to an end. That is Nasadiya Sukta, Nasadasino Sadasis. That is the beginning of the 7 set of sutra, the shlokas. Now you are able to get some, you have to visualize, because we were not a witness. Though we were there, we were not capable of witnessing it. So whatever is said, we have to visualize, we have to what you call imagine what should have been the condition, then how things would have taken place. And that explanation is given. And the whole creation started with cause and effect system. Now when you say a system is organized, that organization we are able to know only through cause and effect. But prescribed definite rules. And one more thing is there, that also we have to understand. Karana, Karya. Karana is the cause. The effect is the Karya. Now this Karya may become a Karana for another Karya. That's also possible. That's a chain. Cause and effect we have got. This effect become a cause for some other effect. It's a chain system. So that effect could be a cause for another thing. Or you can say in simple terms, there will always be this cascading effect. Cascading effect. That is, one becomes the cause and the effect becomes the cause for another thing. That's how it moves. And the whole universe is created with that. The whole universe. And the purpose of this whole universe is very clear. It is for the Satchit to work and become strong and pure so that it can experience bliss. And the whole material world is made up of Ambaha. And this whole system is created by Satchidananda. So this is how the universe was created. So this creation is explained in this Nasadiya Sukta. Nasadasino Sadasit, that is a beginning. There was nothing as organized. At the same time, you cannot say there was nothing. That is, it was not vacuum. Shunya. There was no shunya. There was no shunya. There was no system. Then what do you mean? There was something which was not in order. It was there. It was there. There was no question of birth and death cycle. But it doesn't mean those who are responsible or those who have to go through the cycle are not there. They are all very much there. That is, Satchit was there. But birth and death cycle was not there. It was instituted by Satchidananda for the sake of Satchit, using Sat. All things falls in place. About life will be answered with this theory, postulate, or axiom, assumption, whatever you call it. For us it is enough. And there is no proof for this. We have to just accept what is said in the Vedas. Or if some other better theory can be given, fine, we will take it. But it should be able to answer all the questions. But this theory of creation, what you find in the Vedas, yes, it is very clear and it answers all the questions. You can try asking some questions and you yourself will be in a way to work out the answer. What is the purpose of this life? Okay, you ask it. Then simply says, the purpose of this life is to gain strength, to gain purity for the soul. Why it is required? Because with the purity and strength only it can experience bliss, Ananda. Now who doesn't want Ananda? Who doesn't want the experience of Ananda? There is no exception. Every Jivatma wants it. Every soul wants it. Every Satchit wants it. Can Satchit become Satchidananda? No. There are three different entities. Satchit continues to be Satchit. Anadi Ananta. Satchidananda continues to be Anadi Ananta. Sat also is Anadi Ananta. One will not become the other. It can have contact with Satchidananda and experience that Shanti or bliss, peace and bliss. Now, how many Satchidananda we have got? It is one and only one. How many Satchis? Many. That means there should be some difference between one Satchit and the other Satchit. Yes, there is difference. In what way we can understand the difference? It's in the way of samskara, the impressions that the soul carries. The impression carried by one soul is not the same as the impression carried by another soul. Though both souls with Sharira Indriya Manas live in the same environment, the environment may be the same, but the impressions they carry will be different. This is a very simple thing we can understand. Even if few people are in the same environment, still there will be differences between them. The way they look at things, the way they understand things. So that we call it as samskara. And because of samskara, there is a difference between one Satchit to another Satchit. Then what about Sat? Many. Then how is the difference? It's because of the proportion. Proportion of what? Proportion of Panchabhutas. And out of what Panchabhutas are formed? Ambha. Amba is the primordial particle, primordial matter, primordial mass. Out of this whole universe is formed, of course, through Panchabhutas. Now these Panchabhutas, what we call in Vedic science, the same thing equivalent in the modern science, that is 108 plus elements periodic table. Ask any question, we have got an answer there, very clear. The only thing is we have to understand how the creation was done at that point of time when we were all in either Mukta Sthiti or Supta Sthiti. As in Supta Sthiti, I could not witness it. As in Mukta Sthiti, the whole creation was irrelevant to me. So, the only person who could understand could have been Satchit. It could not. Sat cannot. So, now what is left? Satchidananda. So, that was the Adhyaksha at that point. Everything was under its control and it did everything. How do you prove? Now, this is an axiom. I told you this is an assumption, this is a postulate, and postulate or assumption or axiom is a statement just accepted without proof. But like that, the assumptions or axioms cannot be a big lot. It cannot be. It has to be as minimum as possible and should be capable of explaining as many questions as possible. Even modern science accepts this. It's a limitation. Any subject you take in modern science also, it says these are the basic assumptions. So don't ask for any proof. Take it as it is, it will answer so many questions. So in the same way, for us, the basic assumptions are found in the Vedas. And in particular with creation, it is in this Sukta 10.129. You have to visualize from there. And what all you want for visualization, everything is provided in the 7 mantras. In detail we will go. I just given a what you call the summary of it. Summary of it, where they are very clear and they don't confuse us in any way. You can try asking other questions. Just for sample I have asked some questions. But you can ask so many questions on the same subject. These 7 mantras will be able to answer all of them. All of them. Because that is how the basic things are there. Now the other way around, the minimum assumptions what we have got, it is capable of answering a lot of questions in real life. Then those assumptions are assumed to be right and truth. You got it? We infer. If the assumptions or the axioms are not able to answer the question, we question them. If they are able to answer a lot of our questions, then the basic assumptions what we have made, it is considered as, it is inferred as truth. Because it has got capacity to answer those questions, any question. So these are some scientific and logical way of understanding things. And this system we find it in the Vedas, in particular regarding creation, in this Nasadiya Sukta, that is 10th Mandala, 129th Sukta. Details we will again go a little later when we go mantra by mantra. We study all these mantras word by word. and get better understanding of these things. I've just given a summary of it. The next one. Nirhastaha santu. Nirhastaha santu. Shatravaha. Nirhastaha santu shatravaha. Nirhastaha santu shatravaha. Atharva 6.66.3. Atharva 6.66.3. Nirhastaha santu shatravaha. Shatravaha, enemies. Nirhastaha santu, let them be. Nirhasta means empty-handed. Let the enemies be empty-handed. Now, few points we have to understand very clearly. Shatravaha. So here, I don't have any enemies. I make it very clear. I don't have any enemies. All creatures on this planet, they are all my friends. They are all my fellow beings. I have my enemies. I make it very clear. That's my stand. I love everyone. Good or bad, I love everyone. So that's the basic stand of mine. But there are few creatures who treat me as an enemy. So it is their shortcoming. It's not my problem. It is their problem. But even though it's their problem, I will be hurt because of their enmity about others. Maybe me also. So I pray God, let the hands of the enemies be empty. Let there not be any implement to hurt me. Any armament to hurt me. Let their hands be empty without any such arms or armaments. So without arms or armaments, they cannot hurt me. So that gives me an opportunity to give an offer of friendship from my side. If they got some arm or armament, they can hurt me. But if their hands are empty, yes, now it's time for us to compromise. It's time for us to establish friendship. And of course, the move shall be from my side. Because all are my friends. All are my coexisting fellow beings. Nirhastaha santu shatravaha. So nirhasta, when I say, the first impression is, let their hands be empty. And when I go still deeper, it is, let them not have any idea to hurt another being. It is as good as their hands being empty. Not just hands physically, let their minds be empty also, with reference to the enmity. If they encourage in themselves the enmity, yes, they will find one or the other means to hurt other living beings. Let that also be empty. Let them not get ideas to hurt anyone in any way. So ultimately, I am praying for peace. I am praying for friendship. That's my purpose. And with this friendship and with this fellowship, yes, we can establish a peaceful society, a peaceful world. And that is what required for everyone. Me and those who treat me as an enemy, they also need that. They also need peace, they also need happiness, they also need bliss. But the way to get it, unfortunately, they are not able to understand, and it is my duty to enlighten them. So to avoid risk, let their hands be empty first. So if their hands are empty, they cannot hurt anyone, they will be cornered, and now we can try to enlighten them as to how they should lead a human life with friendship and with love, and finally get what they also want, that is peace and harmony, peace and bliss. If they have some armament, if they have something to fight, due to their ignorance, just wield it and somebody will get hurt. So let that not happen, let their hands be empty. Let their ideas be empty. If they got an idea to hurt anyone, let them not get ideas for that. Now, Nancy, it's a prayer, prarthana. Several times I told you, prarthana vai sankalpaha. So we shall determine to separate them from their organs and armaments. We shall seclude them with empty hands. And then they have to submit. They cannot do any harm because they don't have any implement with them. They can be subdued very easily. Nirhasthas santu shatravaha. Next one. Nema Indra Gavo Rishan. Nema Indra Gavo Rishan. Risha Himsayam. Risha Himsayam. Nema, when it is slipped, it is Na Ima.
Sharma ji, Rishan Riswara. Sharma ji?
Yes, please.
Rishan Riswara.
No. Ri is this consonant. Risha.
Rara, Ri.
Risha Himsayam. There is consonant. Yara. Yara la. That ra. Not swara. Rishan. Na Rishan. Prohibitive. Ima Gavaha. These cows. Indra, that is addressing Sachidananda. Indra is Idi Paramaishwarye, one who is the richest. O Sachidananda, one who is the richest, we have got a prayer. Let not the cows be subject to humility. Subject to torture. Risha Himsayam. Now one question may come. Okay, cows should not be subject to torture. What about other animals? Can I butcher a sheep? Can I butcher a hen and eat them, or fish or something?
No.
The answer is still no. Then how do we understand? This Gavaha, we have to understand it as a Upalakshana. Upalakshana. This is a technical way of telling things. Shastriya Paribhasha. Technical term in the Shastras. Upalakshana. Upalakshana means representative. So when say Gavaha, it doesn't mean only cow, it means all animals. Instead of giving a big list of all animals, I'll give you just Gavaha. It represents the whole set of animals. This we call as Upalakshana. Now why we should take this as Upalakshana? Because elsewhere in the Vedas, they never support torture of any animal for that matter. That's there elsewhere. Don't torture any animal. It's there. Here they are telling don't torture cows. So that cow represents all animals. Therefore it becomes Upalakshana.
Sharma ji. So now the fact that okay, let me Sharma ji, the fact that the cows are
a bit louder. I'm not able to hear.
Even louder, is it? Okay. No, I was asking. Now the fact that the cows are considered sacred, is it because of this misinterpretation that only cows should not be himsa and things like that?
That is, in Puranas, they have a special place for cows only. They say all the gods and goddesses, they reside in a cow, and cow is the holiest animal, like that.
Yes.
So it is Puranic. So there is always a stress to protect cows. What about other animals? They keep quiet. Whereas in Vedas they are very clear, don't harm any other creature. Let it be cow, let it be a pig, let it be a fish or whatever it is. Don't harm any other creature. They have got an equal right to live as you have. That's a simple logic they have got. But in some places they refer to as cow, some places they refer to as aja, the goat or the sheep. So in all such cases we understand that it is an upalakshana. It represents all animals. Don't harm any animal. That's a simple thing. So instead of giving a big list of all animals, we make a set of all animals, and the set is named as maybe Gavaha, maybe Aja, maybe Ashwa. It is all an upalakshana. It represents the whole group. But in Purana, the approach is totally different. In Purana, they find only cow as holy, and other animals they don't consider it as holy as that. Therefore, whether to butcher it or to save it, whether to show love towards them, they just keep quiet. Cow they encourage very much. And it's happening even today. Many people, they are interested in saving the cow, and they are not bothered about other animals. But Vedas don't discriminate like that. It says, have love towards all living beings. Maybe I have given one mantra for that. Even now you can note it. Mitrasya chakshusha samikshamahe. Mitrasya chakshusha samikshamahe. Mitrasya chakshusha samikshamahe. Two more mantras that we give address. This is the third one you can add to that list.
Yeah, Sharmaji, address of Nema Indra Gavo, Rishan also you did not give.
Atharva 20, that's ready, that I will give. Atharva 20.127.13. 20.127.13. Mitrasya chakshusha samikshamahe. Is very clear. Let all the creatures look at one another with friendly nature, with friendship, with love. All creatures, it says. In the earlier part of the mantra, it clearly says Sarvani Bhutani. No exception. Sarvani Bhutani. Let all creatures be looked at with friendly nature, with a friendly look. I will do so, let they also look at me in that way. So let there be only Maitri Bhavana everywhere between all living creatures. No discrimination whatsoever. Now this base is not as strong as in Vedas, in Puranas. That's a problem. They discriminate. And elsewhere in Puranas they also speak of butchery, bali. So in giving that bali, they exclude cow because it is the holiest animal. What about other things? Okay, carry on, no problem. But they are all anti-Vedic. Vedas always speak of friendly relationship between all living creatures without any exception. Sarvani Bhutani, very clear. They have expressed the same words. Sarvani Bhutani.
Sharma ji, I have a question.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah. What about the harmful bacteria that spread diseases?
It is like this. There are certain conflicts between lives, which is natural. Let us not be part of it, or let us not support it. Naturally, some things will be happening. So, for example, say in the human body, some bacteria, virus, they get into it. Now, naturally, what will the body do? It fights out with antibodies, kills it and throws out. There, it is a natural system, and I am not causing it. As far as I am concerned, I say I love every living being. But in spite of my saying so, in spite of my practicing it as far as possible, certain himsa will be taking place from my side. So I just walk, there is an ant. So I step on it, it dies. The whole question is it intentional or natural? If it is natural, yes, it is okay. Just because it is natural, I should not add to it by my intention. My intention is always to avoid it. Now, my intention, if it is to avoid himsa in all ways, yes, my soul gets strengthened, I become purer. That's why this ahimsa shabda is a negative term, you can see there. Maitri is a positive term, ahimsa is negative. Himsa will always be there, knowingly or unknowingly, but ahimsa, I try to avoid it. That trying of mine to avoid himsa adds to the strength of my soul, the purity of my soul. Deliberately, I never do anything. Deliberately, I never do it. Deliberately, I do the opposite. Deliberately, I want to love all creatures and save all creatures. It may be a bacteria, it may be a scorpion, it may be a snake, it may be a virus, whatever it is. I deliberately express love. I deliberately express maitri. I deliberately try to avoid himsa. That's my point of view, my standpoint, and my way of thinking, talking, and doing things. But even beyond my control, certain things will happen. Okay. But I try to compensate it with my love towards all the living beings and not doing anything deliberately. I think I'm clear about that. Ahimsa is a negative term. And that's it. That's it. 100% ahimsa, 100% maitri cannot be done. But mentally I can do it. 100% maitri I can have it through my mind. So that is sufficient for the Atma to become purer and stronger. But it should be done wholeheartedly, deliberately, with knowledge. Beyond that, certain himsa will take place. Okay, we just accept it. Because it's beyond our control. You got my point?
Got it.
So always our attitude, our goal is not to torture, not to harm anyone. That we follow. With knowledge and with all our efforts. Nema Indra Gav Rishan Na Ima Gavaha Rishan. Indra Ima Gavaha Na Rishan. Let these animals not be tortured, not be put to harm. We don't do it. Now next one. Patni Twamasi. Patni Twamasi. Dharmana. Patni Twamasi. Dharmana. Aham Grihapatihi Tava. Aham Grihapatihi Tava. Patni Twamasi. Tvam Asti. Dharmana Aham Grihapatihi Tava. Patni Twamasi Dharmana Aham Grihapatis Tava. Atharva 14.1.51. Atharva 14.1.51. Patni Twamasi Dharmanaham Grihapatis Tava.
Hello? Mama, can you hear me? Hello?
And I am your husband. You are my wife. I am your husband. And you are bound by dharma. It is not a legal contract between husband and wife. It is dharma which binds them. Dharma is far, far better and improvised form of a contract. Contract is most of the time commercial, most of the time needs some witness, somebody to support it, and it can be broken in the court of law very easily. That's why divorces have increased. But the binding between we two is dharma, then we are committed to dharma, and that holds us till our old age, till our death. It's not a legal contract, it's neither a social contract, it is a binding of dharma. It's dharma that binds us. That's what it means. And this is one of the mantras used in Vivaha Samskara, marriage. Patni Tomasi Dharmanaham Grihapatistava. Okay, further details we will see in the next session.